to Bound, and after that, if anyone's got any more questions, we can answer those. I should actually mention that my prologue is probably usually the most harrowing part of the novel. So I don't know how many people have read the prologue, especially the one to Overkill, which is quite, I won't say nasty, but it's very hard. So I wonder how many people read that and didn't read it further. But the rest of the novels are actually from Sam Shepard's perspective, and she's an optimistic, upbeat kind of a girl, so there's an element of her and humour through them. This is Bound. The image of the clock's hands burned into her retinas as she stared, willing her eyes to stay focused, there, on that spot. Above the sound of the blood pulsing through her ears, she could make out the sharp click of ticks as the second hand laboured the circumference of the dial. Don't look, she thought. For Christ's sake, you can't look. Her eyes stayed fixed on the clock. He'll be home soon. Please let him be home soon, she thought. Don't be late. Not tonight. Please, not tonight. But what her eyes could avoid, her nose could smell. The wet, hot, metallic scent of blood, overpowering the sharp chemical tang of the adhesive on the tape splashed across her mouth. She closed her eyes, the photographic negative of the clock dancing in the darkness, but it was as pointless as resisting gravity. They opened, their focus drawn to the inevitable. She took in the ruined shell that had been John, the mangled mess that had been his face, now just dripping meat, blood, brain. She felt the spasm clench her stomach at the sight, the smell, and started repeating the mantra in her head: you vomit, you die, you vomit, you die. She tried to take deep, even breaths. Think of Declan. He's already lost one parent tonight. Don't let it be two. She slammed her eyes shut, concentrating on breathing, on forcing away the nausea. Whereas she could fight the nausea, she couldn't fight the tears. And as the sobs racked her body, she began to realise the deep breathing was becoming more difficult. She strained against the ropes that bound her arms and feet to their chair, but nothing could stop the wave of panic that hit as she realised her nose was getting stuffier, and the more she panicked, the more she cried, and the more she cried, the less she could breathe, until she couldn't pull in any air, and she felt a band of steel tightening around her chest. She pulled against her bonds. Nothing. She twisted. She pushed. Her body fought for air, and with desperation she shoved against the floor with her feet. As the chair tipped, the last things her eyes found was the clock, its second hand ticking away her life, before a white-hot flare of pain and then darkness.